Greetings from Elite English Academy. Dear friends, in this video I am going to tell you how important for English literature students to score more marks in paper 1. So many students individually they score reasonably good marks. That is, they clear the paper. 20 questions they make it correct in paper 1 and 40 questions they make it correct in paper 2. So individually they get through, but in the overall percentage they couldn't reach the destination. So the best thing what you can do is, if you score more marks in paper 1, definitely you can get through that margin. So now I'm going to analyze the syllabus, in which you can understand what are the easy scoring areas, especially for English literature students, what are the time consuming areas, and what are the areas in which you should not lose marks, and what are the units in which you can just skip one or two questions so that you can save time for other units. So as a part of this, in this particular video I'm going to discuss two topics. One is teaching aptitude and another one is research aptitude. And already most of you should have written the NET exam in September 2020. So there were two sessions, session 1 and session 2. Especially in this video I am going to discuss the questions from session 2 of September NET examination. First, let's see the syllabus. So here for English literature students, first two topics, teaching aptitude and research aptitude, these are the topics that should be easy, because English literature students generally they are good at human psychology. So naturally these two areas are good for English literature students. Next, comprehension and communication. So communication is a very simple topic for English literature students, because it's about very small subdivisions of topics. So it is applied directly to teaching learning process. So if you have some understanding of the nature of question, easily you can score. So one of the tricky areas for English literature students is comprehension, because the literature students believe that we can do comprehension well. Of course, if not English literature students, who will? The thing is, they have overconfidence here, since they strongly believe that they can crack most of the questions right here. They spend more time in this area for 5 questions. Naturally many students they take at least double the time they require to spend in this particular unit. So the time strategy is very important for comprehension unit. Coming back to the next three topics, reasoning and aptitude, logical reasoning, data interpretation. These are the areas in which the English literature students really struggle. To be frank, with some input and proper guidance, at least out of 15 questions, if you score 7 to 10 questions right, then definitely your score will be more than 70 percentage in paper 1. That is 35 questions you can easily score, if provided you score 7 to 10 questions correct in these three units. So we have a separate faculty for these three topics. Definitely you will get further input in this series of videos. So the next three topics, information communication, technology, people development and environment, and higher education system, these are the topics that are based on facts. So if you study the right material, so with some working out some questions, definitely at least 60 percentage of the questions you can make it definitely right. So there are 15 more questions here, so easily you can score 10 out of 15. So the point here what I'm trying to convey is very simple. So first 4 units out of 20 questions, if you score around 15, then in the next set of 3 units 10, so that is 25. Then again in the last 3 units if you score 10, so 35 is assured. Dear friends, normally in literature paper students almost they score 40 questions right, or 40 to 45. So when you add more marks in paper 1, so that will help you to clear this examination. Otherwise every time how it will be, both the papers students can clear, but together they do not get the required percentage. Look at the timing here, 3 hours timing. So it is what is that, 180 minutes, right? 150 questions together, paper 1 and paper 2. So roughly 1 minute 20 seconds for a question. So leave the 20 seconds out of tension, this and that, you leave. So effectively you can spend 1 minute for one question. So in that strategy, if you do not know the answer of a question, you have to move on, especially for first paper, more than 50 minutes. Of course, 10 more minutes for review you can take. More than 1 hour if you take for paper 1, definitely that is going to affect your time for the next paper 2. And another important factor is, if you spend more time in a particular unit, what will happen, there may be at the end, there may be some questions, if you think you may get the answer, but for such question, because of lack of time, you may rush through, just like that you may choose A, B, C, so like that. So such questions should not be missed. So dear students, please keep it in mind. For one question, 1 minute effectively. So that is thing. So these are the first 4 units that hold the key for English literature students. Other things, with some extra effort and further input, you can make it. But first 4 units you must take 15 and above. Then only you can think of getting more percentage in NET examination. As a part of this, in this video, I'm going to analyze the 2 topics, research aptitude and teaching aptitude, from which, so there were 9 questions in 2020 September NET examination session 2. I'm going to discuss that answer. First, look at the question. A teacher is in a particular college, assigns percentile ranks to indicate his or her students' performance in the unit test conducted. So look at the key here, unit test. What type of assessment procedure will it be called? Criterion reference, norm reference, formative, summative. So we know there are basically 3 types of questions. So there is examination, diagnostic test, right? Formative test and summative test. Diagnostic test is conducted at the beginning of a course. Summative test is conducted at the end of the course. Whatever test you conduct in between to check the ability of the students, so that can be called as formative assessment. The assessment during the course of a time is called as formative assessment. So for this, the right answer is formative. It is very simple. You can save 15 seconds here for this question. Second one, it is a little bit tricky. Look at the question carefully. A college teacher intends to find out as to what extent student involved in learning of boys and girls. Involvement in. So the teacher wants to find out the involvement of boys and girls from rural or urban areas is attributable to the socio-economic status of the family. So 2 things we find: socio-economic status and boys and girls of the family from which they hail. What will be designated as an independent variable in this research project? Fine, very interesting. So this question can be considered for research. It is the combination of teaching and research. So it is a research question rooted in a teaching situation. Fine. So let's see that. Student involvement in learning. So what is the question asked? What is the independent variable? Now you have to know what is variable. So what is variable? It can be X. X means any value. For example, Ramu and Somu are friends. So Ramu is a X and Somu is Y. So X is a variable, like that Y is also a variable. Then who is the variable? There are different types of variable: independent variable, dependable variable, qualitative variable, quantitative variable. Like that there are more than 10 types. Now independent variable means a variable or a value that is not affected by anything else, right? It should be a solid thing. So student involvement in learning, so that is qualitative. A socio-economic status, again it is qualitative. rural and urban areas, it is not concrete. How will you define something is rural and something is urban? That is not possible. So gender, boys and girls, this could be the independent variable, because rural and urban area definition may change, socio-economic status may change, and student involvement in learning is completely optional, because one day a student may be involved in teaching learning process, another day he may not be. So what is the so these three are dependable variable because they will change constantly, whereas boys and girls, the gender of a particular person need not change technically, so it is the independent variable. So the answer is 4. Next question on teaching. Look at the question. Identify the features of understanding level teaching from the following. So before you read the question, please understand the three things. First, memory level, right? Then thinking level, and reflective level. So this is common in both teaching and learning process. So just that is thought level will come here. Fine. So identify the features of understanding level teaching from the following. Then the teacher takes the initiative in organizing subject matter, in structuring the various units, and controlling the practice taken by the students. It is basically devoted to helping students in seeing the relationship and tool use of a fact. It is directed at problem raising and problem solving in a collaborative manner. It is aimed at conceptualization of ideas and facts. The purpose is promote autonomy, to promote autonomy in the learning process through self-regulation. Right. So this type of question, if a student is given 5 minutes time, definitely that student will come out with the right answer. So the problem we face here is the timing. So when there is a big text like this as a part of question, definitely it is highly discouraging factor, but anyhow you have to learn the art of reading quickly and accurately. Now coming back to the question, identify the features of understanding level. So understanding level, it comes in between memory level and thinking level, so that comes in between, right? So now coming back to the point, so here after you just take a few more minutes time and see each and every option. Now let me give you the right option to you. So there is first one, the teacher takes the initiative in organizing the subject matter in structure. So these are the things that take place before the class. So it's about classroom management. So the first option is not at all in place. Now coming to the second one, it is basically devoted to helping students in seeing of relationship and tool, how so the students understand something, how to use it. So B is one of the answers. So if B is definitely an answer, you can so you know how many options B and other options are there. So B is available in B, A for the option 1 and option 2. So what you can do, it is a time saving strategy. So you can reject the option 3 and 4. So if you reject A, definitely B is the second option is the answer. B and D. I hope you get the point. See, in this type of bigger questions, so after reading the options quickly one time, if you at least one option, you'll be sure of that this is the answer, this is one of the answers. So here if you fix that, definitely you can remove the other two options. So you have to choose between option 1 and option 2. Since you are sure that option A will not come, so definitely option 2, that is B and D, is the answer. Next question in teaching. The view that teaching learning situations may be characterized to fall on a continuum ranging from memory level to reflective level was advanced by. Now see that two questions are based on the same topic. So here, who proposed that? Earlier we saw the different things. There is a memory level, understanding level, thinking level, reflective level. So now we understand that another question, who proposed this? It is a technical question, let me give you. So it is Stephen M. uh, Gorey. And one more thing, please make a note of it. Morris L. Bick, you can refer to different books, and he's the person who advocated the first level, so memory level of teaching learning process, whereas the answer for us is Stephen M. Covey. Another question in teaching. A university teacher administers a self-made test for summative evaluation of his or her students. The distribution of scores of students is found to be positively skewed. Right. So what inference he or she should make about the difficulty level of this test? The most important aspect of this question lies in the meaning of the word skewed. If a student does not know the meaning of the word skewed, then the entire process will go wrong. So skewed means it is manipulated, biased, right? How something it is inappropriate. So what inference he or she should make about the difficulty level of this test? So now please understand, the teacher decides to conduct a test. It is the question paper is designed by the teacher. And when the outcome comes, the teacher finds the results are not okay. Then what inference should make the difficulty level of this test? Okay, so since the first test goes wrong terribly, what should be the plan of action of the teacher? The teacher should test, like the test is much too easy for students, the test difficult for students, the test is quite interesting to students, the test is favoring those students who are low rankers. Well, the last two options we can remove, because at university level there is no question of interesting level. Then favoring students, so there is no question of helping the very poor. So if the student does not have any understanding, that person might not have come to the PG level or university level. So the question should be between, option should be between the first and two. So just you don't worry about self-made test, skewed this and that. So how objectively a test should be? Should it be easy or should it be difficult? So definitely it is difficult. This is the answer. So the important aspect of this particular question is understanding the question. If you understand the question easily, you can give the answer. So please, dear students, understand. So reading and comprehending the given question is very, very important in answering a particular question. Next one. Which of the following support materials in learning use the procedures of programmed instructions technology based on Skinner-Crowder's principles? So it is also a basic question based on fact. I don't want to spend much time. Anyhow, let me explain what are these. First thing, what is modular instructional material? So modular means it is the instructional program, outcome based program. So that is the thing that is being practiced in colleges and universities. Those who are working in college definitely know the outcome based syllabus, this and that. So modular instructional material means outcome based material. Second one, branching programs based on material. It is information with alternative things. For example, if one particular input is given, that should lead to related things. So that is branching programs. Then linear programs. Linear programs means just a particular course is divided into small pieces, and from difficulty level simple to difficult, it is being arranged in a systematic way. Then specially prepared supplement program materials, that is for special needs. For example, If there is a course for nurses, probably they need vocabulary and conversation practice related to medical situations. So that is specifically prepared. We can call it ESP. Then lecture outlines with components of to reflect and to do. So it is the advanced level of doing. So already we saw memory level, thinking level, so this is the what is the action level when the students learn something in the class, if they are able to apply. So that is thing. Right. Now coming back to the question, which of the following support materials, it is about support materials, so that is teaching learning materials, use the procedures of programmed instructional technology based on Skinner and Crowder's principles. Though this question is based on factual information, I have explained each and every components. So here A and C, so these are the options. It is outcome based material, and it is arranged in a systematic way. So option 2 is the right answer. Dear friends, so far I discussed some of the questions in the part of teaching area. Now let's move to research area. Compared to teaching, the questions based on research is really difficult. First, see the question. Given below are two statements. Statement 1. This type of questions are really time consuming questions. I won't say they are difficult questions, they are time consuming questions. Statement 1. In research, formulation of policies for admission, test screening cannot neglect the constitutional provisions. So here a constitutional provision refers to the right to education. So government is looking for equity in education. Statement 2. While awarding research degrees, the minorities quota have to be protected in the interest of equity. So here, though this is the question based on research unit, so it is a very general question. So any student with normal understanding can answer this question. So just don't look at the other options. First statement and second statement, are they right? Is it right? We should when we make admission to students to the university, should we follow the rules of the government? Yes. Second, statement 2, while awarding research degrees, should we follow the equity process? Equity is like equality, more than equality, equal opportunity, and to ensure so equality in society. This is also yes. So the answer should be both statements are correct. So option 1 is the right option here. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. So though this question is slightly tricky and complicated, this is the question that can be easily understood. Please keep it in mind. Second question in research. A research scholar finds through statistical analysis that the value of t is significant. What decision is warranted on the basis of this hypothesis? So null hypothesis, actually I would say this is the most difficult question in research, because you have to understand what is null hypothesis, what is hypothesis, what is proving that the hypothesis, and disproving the hypothesis. Okay, so here the options are the null hypothesis should be rejected and the research hypothesis should be accepted. So these two are two pairs. Either C and D will come or A and B will come. Actually, regarding null hypothesis, probably when there will be another video by the math faculty, that person will explain it better, but let me give you in a simple way. So null hypothesis 0. So when something is like this, right? So here it goes like this. So it is the t value. So here according to the rule, please see that according to the rule, if the absolute value of the t value is greater than the critical value, we reject the null hypothesis. So here when there is a difference, between null hypothesis, look at that, null hypothesis and t value, we have to reject. So that should be the answer. So the option A and B only. So that is the answer. The null hypothesis should be rejected. The research hypothesis should be accepted. This is the right option. Which of the following are the characteristics of a good sample in research? Of course, there is a topic called sampling in research. So what is the nature? So here this question is framed based on the characteristics of good sampling. So it should be accessible, of course. So whoever see if X does research, if Y wants to verify that sample, it should be comprehensible. So it should be readily accessible. Representative population characteristics. A good sampling will disclose or will represent the true attitude of the people. For example, if you take a survey on election result, who will win the next election. So if your research and your sampling reflect the true attitude of the people. For example, if you say candidate A will win, if the candidate A wins, that is the right representative population characteristic. But if you say A will win, but what happens, B wins, then definitely that is not the right sampling. So it should be representative population characteristics, of course. Then serving the personal considerations of the researcher. We'll keep this option on hold. Precision and accuracy in approximating the parameters. So this is the very dangerous point you have to note. When we take sampling, should we collect sampling to meet the requirement alone? For example, if you just 100 samples have to be collected. For example, you do research in one city called Trichy. Then you live in one particular place. You are living in west of Trichy. You collect all the samples from that area alone. Then that is not the correct research, right? So the precision and accuracy in approximating the parameters only to meet the requirement. If you do research, so naturally, if you do this, it will not it will not represent this properly, right? So this option we have to reject. Freedom from bias. So again, that also goes away. So here, look at this third option, serving the personal consideration. So here, this is the highly misleading phrase that may mislead the students from this particular question. Here, what is the personal consideration? The personal consideration of the researcher is doing the research. So this option can also be accepted. So what should be the answer of this particular question? A, B and C. Naturally, option 1, that is A, B and C becomes the answer. Dear students, there may be different arguments, but at the same time, if you approach this question from different perspectives, you will get this answer. Dear friends, I hope this video is useful to you. So cracking NET exam and scoring more marks in first paper is as simple as that, provided you prepare it in a systematic way. So here I have just discussed the 2 topics here. Please wait for more videos in this series so that you can get a better understanding of paper 1 and the way the questions are asked. If you wish to join us in the journey of preparing for a NET examination, feel free to call us. Thank you. All the best.